Welcome to S-Trip. If you're watching this video, it means that you're well on your way to becoming a certified destination staff. Destination staff are the most important part of our S-Trip experience. As far as our passengers are concerned, you are S-Trip. Our staff is what differentiates ourselves from other travel companies and ensures that our travelers return to us again for future travel needs. Our recruitment and training process has become very extensive over the past few years, as we pride ourselves in only hiring the greatest staff for our trips. The recruitment and training process consists of 8 steps. First, you've got your online application, then your phone screening interview, in-person or Skype interview, availability form completion online, which will be emailed to you via a link. Then we have our destination staff training manual and video. Successful completion of the certification test will happen after this manual. In-person training session and assignment to trips and programs is last. The manual and the video were designed to be read and watched together. They will give you a solid knowledge base of our company's history, products, policies, and procedures. It will help you to understand your role and how to handle yourself in any situation. Please review the contents of the manual and the video several times, especially before any trips, so that we can assure that you fully understand the contents. After reading the manual and the video, you will need to successfully pass the Destination Staff Certification Test with a score of 70% or above. This is an online multiple choice and short answer question, and only the individuals who pass the test successfully will be considered for the next step. Individuals who successfully pass the certification test will be invited to our in-person training session. These sessions will take place at the major cities across Canada or via another Skype interview. The training sessions will be in group settings and will test your ability to act under pressure and test your common sense. These sessions will review scenarios that staff deal with on a common basis while on destination. Please keep in mind that individuals, again, will be rated on their performance during these sessions, and your assignment to trips may be affected by your performance. Once you complete all of these steps, you will be ready to travel with S-Trip.
The company. History of S-Trip. Phase 1, 1976 to 1997. Inderhanda opens Hand Travel in Ottawa. It's a retail travel agency that specializes in discount travel packages. Over the next 20 years, it grows to become one of the biggest travel agencies in Canada. Alexander Handa comes in and starts taking over student bookings and specializing in student packages. Phase 2, 1998 to 2005. S-Trip is born. Alex takes over fully as the S-Trip student travel specialist. He brings on Eugene and Justin to help out, and they run their own grad trips. It's an established brand now. It's starting to grow. People are starting to become aware of what S-Trip is and what we do. Phase 3, 2006 to 2007. They moved to Toronto. They move into the GTA. It's an untapped market, and it's a place where student travel really isn't well known. They move into the GTA and they start growing the brand and growing awareness for student travel. Products expand, new trips grow, and we're getting greater value. Phase 4, 2008 to 2011. Grad bus trips are across Ontario. Everyone now knows S-Trip, and everyone knows to travel with S-Trip. We have a new office that opens up on Queen Street West. We're getting greater volume, we have more staff, and we need a bigger place to stay. We start to grow out to the West Coast in Vancouver, and we have trips coming out of Halifax as well. Phase 5, 2011 to the present. We're now the leader in student travel across all of Canada. We have a 100+ strong staff base, and we have offices in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal, Halifax, and we even open up a headquarters in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Bus Trip and Grad Trip are now widespread across Canada, and we start to develop new programs in Europe, and we even branch out to an educational travel company. We start sales in the US, and we start to move into Boston, Seattle, and New York, and we are now one of the well-known student travel companies in North America. Types of trips. We have many different kinds of trips on S-Trip. I'm going to go over what you can expect to travel with us. Grad Trip. Grad Trip is usually a 7-night accommodation, all-inclusive trip down south. You get your all-inclusive resort package, so you get all your meals, all your activities. We have one excursion and one off-site event included in this package. There's volunteer missions, Included on this trip is your RBC insurance and 24-hour S-Trip staff. Not included, obviously, are gratuities and personal expenses like shopping and going on optional excursions. Other trips we have are ski trips. Ski trips are usually 2 to 4 days long, and they're in places like British Columbia and Quebec. This package includes return transportation, hotels, some meal plans based on the package, one night event, and 24-hour S-Trip staff. Not included, obviously, are some meals, some ski and board rental lessons, gratuities, and extra night events. Busaway. These are more trips catered to going to a city and experiencing an actual city. What we do for these trips is go to places like Montreal and Quebec City, and your return transportation, accommodation at your hotel, meal plans depending on the program, a city tour, one night event, and 24-hour S-Trip staff. Not included, obviously, some of your meals, extra night events, gratuities, and personal expenses. Spring break. Spring break is a package that caters to university students. These trips are usually your reading week trips for university, and it's a 7-day package, all inclusive, airfare, hotel accommodation, full meals, drinks, everything is included, sports activities. We run activities during the day, pool parties, stuff like that, and then at night we throw big parties for them. 24-hour staff are on site and RBC medical insurance. Not included, obviously, other excursions you want to take, gratuities, and shopping. Other trips that we have here at S-Trip, we've started a new company called Educademy. Educademy is an educational travel company where students in grade 10 or 11 can spend a month of their summer in a different location like Costa Rica, France, Italy, anywhere in Europe. And basically what they do is they go to class during the day and they experience the culture and the sights and sounds of the place at night. They get a high school credit out of this program, and we're really proud to have this on one of our rosters now for trips. Europe is a new destination for S-Trip. What we're doing now is we have many different trips. We do a European adventure trip, we do Italian trips, Greek trips, and it's really important because we really feel that students should get to experience some culture on the other side of the world. Volunteering trips is another area that we're dealing with now, and we teamed up with a company called Mad Adventure. And Mad Adventure does volunteering trips in places like Ghana and Peru. You go down, you spend about a month, building churches, building homes, helping with schools, stuff like that. It's really enriching stuff. Festivals. We work with a company in Europe where we send students over to run the festivals. And basically these are like the coolest, most amazing experiences you can have in Europe, where you go to the running of the bulls, you go to the Tomatina tomato fight, or you go to Oktoberfest. Last but not least are our safari trips. And basically what these are our surf trips, where you can go to places like Mexico, Dominican, France, Spain, Morocco, or Australia, and you get to spend a week learning how to surf and hanging out with all types of surf culture. People on our trips. Passengers first and foremost are the students that we travel. They're aged between 16 and 24, and most importantly, they're never referred to as kids. We always refer to them as students or clients. Trip organizers. These are the most important people on a trip because they've done all the hard work to make this trip happen. They're the ones who have gotten all their friends to come on this trip, and they're the ones who have done all the work to make it happen. So we want to really make sure they have a great trip. It's really important to always check on them and always to have a good relationship with your trip organizer. Suppliers. Any company, group, organization that we work with while on destination, before or after, it's really important that we have a good relationship with them. Suppliers can be many different things, from hotels, restaurants, bus companies, security companies, clubs, any of the situation, any of the people that we deal with on these trips. These are our suppliers, and it's really important that we have good relationships with them. Parents. Parents do not travel on S-Trip, but it's very important that whenever we deal with parents, we deal with them in a very mature and very professional manner. So you're always in your uniform, you're always speaking politely, you're always giving enough information when they're asking for it. It's really important to engage them and always talk to them when you see parents, because parents, to us, we're the ones who are taking their children on this vacation, so they want to really be comfortable with the fact that S-Trip is doing a good job. So it's very important to always engage parents. They can be our biggest champions or our worst enemies, so it's always good to make sure that they're comfortable and they're really confident in our abilities taking their child on a trip. Other travelers and guests. Obviously, you come across, if you're at an all-inclusive resort, there's families, there's going to be other people at the airport, on the planes. It's really important that we always are conscious of who's around and who's watching us, because we want to be held in a very professional manner. So there's going to be other people traveling in these destinations, and it's always important to make sure that we're upholding our standards and that we're seen as a very good company.
In this section, we are going to discuss the staff. We have program directors, coordinators, trip leaders, and office staff. Program directors are senior staff members who are assigned to oversee all aspects of one program. Some of their responsibilities include all supplier relations, supervising coordinators, setting up events and excursions, dealing with emergencies, and acting as the main point of contact for the head office back here in Canada. Coordinators are also senior staff members, but they are selected to manage one aspect of a program. Each individual is responsible for certain tasks to their role, and they will usually be your go-to person when you have any questions about the program. We have coordinators for the following responsibilities: hotel, bus, events, activities and excursions, and accounting.
The leaders are our heart and soul of our destination team. They are the main point of contact between the passengers and S-Trip during all their travel days. It is a big responsibility and a very exciting one. The main point of contacts between the passengers and the trip leaders happens at all times for passenger assistance, inquiries, concern, and just being the go-to person. The trip leader's main responsibilities include passenger assistance, communication with the group, animation, room checking and checkout, excursion escort, and of course, ensuring students are having a great time. Office staff, also a big responsibility. S-Trip office staff are a group of experienced individuals in the travel business that are located in our head office downtown Toronto. They are the main point of contact for executing the trips at all time and when they're all happening at the same time. Very busy group of experienced individuals, always on call to help you out as trip leaders. They are the main point of contact between the destination staff, on-site suppliers and vendors, parents, and if there's any case of emergency or concerns, they are there to help you, just a phone call away. Further to these responsibilities, they also are responsible for last-minute changes, bookings, itinerary changes, of course, dealing with cancellations, insurance concerns, and relaying emergency information to the parents and the passengers. And this is what we have on site at head office.
Staff conduct. It's always important to remember that while on destination, you are a representative of S-Trip. Any interaction that you have with hotel staff, guests, and other S-Trip members, you have to approach with a positive attitude. It is important to maintain a good relationship with all of these people in order to ensure that our program succeeds from year to year. Ratings and feedback. At the end of each program, hotel coordinators will be responsible for giving a rating to the destination staff they've worked with at their hotel. It's important to keep in mind that your execution on site throughout the week, your interaction with students, and your initiative in helping support events and activities will all gear towards a positive outcome for this rating. Failure to do so could result in a lower rating, which may affect your chances of becoming a returning staff down the road. Appearance and professionalism. It's important to remember that while on site, you must be wearing the full S-Trip uniform at all times. Whether it be passengers, hotel staff, emergency response, or other members of the S-Trip team, you must be easily identified and recognized in any situation, whether it be in a crowd or by yourself walking down the hotel. Reasons for discipline and expulsion. There are three main reasons that an S-Trip staff member could be removed from destination. One is consuming alcohol. Two is being under the influence of any drugs or being in possession of drugs. And three is hooking up with any staff, passengers, or hotel staff. Although consuming alcohol, drugs, and hooking up with students and staff is an important factor and could have you potentially removed from the trip, there are also some other significant things that we should note. It's always important when you're on destination to be on time for meetings, events, and other activities. It's always important to be honest and make sure you're very forthcoming with any situation or scenario as it unfolds, and to make sure that you're always interacting with students and being there to lend a helping hand to any of your staff or senior staff members who require assistance for executing or setting up an event or activity. Positive attitude. In any situation, whether it be good or bad, approaching with a positive attitude will usually result in a positive outcome. Approaching a situation with a negative attitude more often than not is going to result in a negative outcome. It's basic common sense. Just make sure that you're always being pleasant and being a true S-Trip representative. Taking initiative. It's important to remember that although you're in a sunny destination or you're in a winter wonderland, that you're not on vacation. You're there as a staff member, and as such, at any given opportunity when there's a task to be completed, please take the initiative and jump on board in completing it to make sure that we can offer the best student experience possible. Being personable. You have to remember that we expect that the S-Trip staff are the most personal people out there. We've got passengers on destination who have gone with a large group, who have gone with a small group, or perhaps even by themselves. It's our responsibility to make sure that passengers at all times feel as comfortable as possible so they leave an S-Trip feeling that they've just received the best travel experience of their life. And it all starts with the staff.
Staff care. S-Trip uniforms are a huge component to our staff presence on every destination program. They have been specially designed to help students identify who you are and also portray an image of professionalism towards students, staff, parents, and other suppliers as well. So the S-Trip uniforms will be provided to all staff, okay? They have been branded specifically to provide you with all these different items. For instance, uniforms on grad trip and spring break programs include t-shirts, hoodies, bags, lanyards, as well as on ski trip busaway destinations include certain things like jackets, t-shirts, hoodies, bags, and lanyards as well. Uniform and dress code conduct. Uniforms are to be worn at all times without an exception, okay? To be clear about this, uniforms are to be worn from the minute you arrive at your bus stop destination or the airport from the minute you return to your bus or that airport destination upon return. Uniforms are to be kept in good and clean condition throughout the duration of the program. Do not alter, cut, or damage your uniforms in any way, shape, or form. Do not smoke while wearing your uniforms. And on top of that, make sure that jackets are also returned to your hotel coordinators at the end of each busaway destination program upon your return. Staff should not wear certain uniforms, especially for women, certain things like bikini bottoms, Lululemon pants, yoga pants, or TNA pants. Appropriate bottoms include certain things like cargo shorts, khakis, khaki pants, jeans, capris, and cargo shorts. Failure to follow any of these dress codes may result in disciplinary action by your hotel coordinator or directors. Binders. All staff will be provided with destination binders prior to your departure. Please read through each of these binders in detail, and if you have any questions, please direct them towards your managers or directors before you leave for the trip. Binder contents contain certain things like contacts, all the program A to Z's, lists, checklists, and reports and forms.
Cell phones. Although we do our best to make sure you don't have to use your phones on site, it's still really important that you carry them with you, just in case. When you're on site, it's always important to have your phone on you, just in case your director needs to send you a text message. Therefore, we need you to have it on you at all times. All the minimal communication that you will receive or send during your S-Trip staffing experience has been covered and factored into your compensation. Personal use is not covered. So this means if you're texting your friends back home or you're calling people back home, this is not covered in your compensation and this is on you. All the contacts that you will need while on destination are in your S-Trip binder, so please be wary of that and use those when needed. No personal use while on duty. Basically what this means is we don't want our staff sitting around BBMing and texting while students are walking by. The most important thing is to always be engaging, and if you're just paying attention to your cell phone, you're not engaging with students. One tip that I can give you is if you do plan on coming on a trip with us and you think you will be using your phone for personal use, contact your provider and see what kind of long distance packages they have. For example, TELUS has a $20 text package that's unlimited, which I always use because I know when I'm down south, I'm still going to want to talk to friends back home.
Student conduct. Every student who travels with S-Trip is required to sign a student code of conduct. If they're under the age of 18, they're also required to have their parents sign it as well. Please be familiar with this document, as it will be a very important piece of information for you while in destination. Drugs. Drugs are not tolerated at any time on destination. The best way to deal with this issue is to be proactive. If you find out that a student is in possession of drugs or under influence of any drugs, please notify your hotel coordinator as soon as possible, who will then consult the program director to come to a resolution. It is not your responsibility to engage a student when it is discovered or determined that they are in possession of drugs or to remove it from them. Please come find a senior staff as soon as possible and we'll handle the situation. Okay. Fighting. The best way to deal with fighting on site is to be proactive. Persuade students from drinking excessively. If you catch wind that there's a minor situation or hostility occurring, try to be proactive and resolve it before students engage in any altercation, especially before they get themselves in a situation where they're consuming alcohol. If a fight does break out, we do not ask that you engage physically, but please notify security or police as soon as possible to prevent any further harm to any students or staff. Alcohol. Although we do our best to discourage drinking on any of our destinations, we have to assume that some students are going to push the envelope and take advantage of that rule. Whether you're on a flight trip or a bus trip, we do have an alcohol policy rule. There's a difference between age of majority on flight trips and in bus trips. When you're on a flight trip, regardless of the age of majority of the country in which we are in, S-Trip has a strict policy that 18 years of age and older is the age of majority, regardless of the country. When you're in Canada, we simply follow the age of majority of the province. In some provinces, it's 18 years of age. In others, it's 19. We ask that you be familiar with these policies in order to enforce them on site. Quiet hours. On destination, we have a mandatory quiet hours in any hotel from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. We do our best to plan events within these evening hours to ensure that students aren't in the hotel disturbing other passengers, other guests, and staff. However, there will come an opportunity for students who do decide to stay back from an event to be in the hotel, in their hotel rooms, or in common areas. So it's important for us to communicate that message that they aren't disturbing the other guests on site in order for us to maintain a positive relationship with our hotel partners and ensure that we can continue these trips year after year. Curfew. On any of our destinations, whether it be flight or bus, we do have a mandatory curfew of 1 a.m. It's important to remember that yes, although some of our events from time to time do stretch beyond this time period, we must remind students that at 1 a.m. they are expected to be in the mindset that the party will be shutting down and that they should be in their rooms getting ready for the next day, whether it be snowboarding or whatever excursions we have planned.